Hey guys, what's going on? Alex from Low Budget Rigs here, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about graphics cards and which ones you should choose and which ones will be best for you. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about some AMD cards and a little bit about some GeForce cards. Now, I like both NVIDIA and I like AMD. I don't have an issue with either one of them. Whichever one would best fit you is what you should pick for your build. The cards that I like from AMD are going to be the R7 360, the R7 370, the R9 270, and then the R9 380. Those are my top picks for AMD, and those range from the price of about $100 all the way up to about $200. And those would be the ones that I would pick if you're going to go AMD. Just know that AMD cards require more power most of the time for their cards. I believe all these cards require more power than most of the GTX cards that we're going to talk about, but I really like this lineup of cards. They're all affordable and they'll all get you 1080p gaming with no issues, basically. Anywhere from 35 to 60 FPS at 1080p, from medium to high graphics, and even some ultra. Now, the GeForce GTX cards that I have picked out for this video are going to be the GTX 750 Ti, the GTX 950, and the GTX 960. All ranging from $100 to $200, and each one step up from the next with better performance, better gameplay, smoother graphics. So basically, any of those three would be a pick for me. It just depends on your price range, and you'll still get anywhere from 35 to 60 FPS solid for gameplay. Now, when you pick your graphics card, you want to pick the one that's going to best suit you. If you're going to just be light gamer, not too intense, no games that are too intensive, or if you're okay with playing at low and medium settings, the R7 360 by AMD or the GTX 750 Ti would be great choices, as both of these cards can play games at 1080p, and they both will provide you with exactly what you want: the smooth graphics, smooth gameplay, and great FPS. Now, if you want to go a step above that, I recommend getting the GTX 950 or jumping to a Radeon R7 370, which is going to be one step above the R7 360, but I believe they make it in a 4GB version. The R7 360 and the GTX 750 Ti are both going to be 2GB DDR5 RAM. Both of them, I believe, have a 128-bit bandwidth for the memory. Not 100% sure on that. You may double check, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty close. The R7 370, it's going to get you that little bit extra performance. It's got quite a bit more stream processors in it. And the GTX 950, it's a solid graphics card. I've used it before. You can pick them up as low as about $139. That would be my top pick for mid-range gaming. Going to get high quality settings, 50 plus FPS. I can almost guarantee that on almost all games. Some games are going to be low 40s depending on what you have turned on in your settings, but most of them are going to be just fine at high or ultra with the 950. Now, the GTX 960, and then we're going to go the R9 380. Those two cards are going to be my high-end budget card picks. Both of them perform within 2 to 5 frames per second each. They're both great cards. They're both affordable if you have a budget up to $200. I think you can pick up a GTX 960 as low as about $179. The R9 380, I believe, is just about the same price. Maybe you can get one of those a little bit cheaper. But the power ratings are what you should pay attention to on those, depending on what power supply you have. With all these graphics cards, you need to pay attention to that because it is important to get a graphics card that is compatible with your system. And another thing that when I first started shopping for parts that threw me off and confused me was in the AMD cards, I believe they list them as stream processors, and then in the GeForce GTX by NVIDIA, and they call their stream processors CUDA cores. It's their own technology that they use for each graphics card, and I have noticed that higher stream processors and higher CUDA cores usually equals better gameplay and performance, but don't let that make your decision for which card you buy, because I had a GTX 950 that actually outperformed an R7 360, and it actually has less shader units, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but I believe it has less. I'm gonna double check that real quick just to make sure so I don't look like an idiot. Let's see. 950 has 768, and the R7 360 has 768. So actually they have the same stream processors, or CUDA cores that they call them. Sorry about that. But they have the same exact amount of stream processors, and the GTX 950 actually outperformed the R7 360. Not saying that's with all games. You know, they side by side they may compare equally on some games. One may perform better than the other. One game could be built specifically for the AMD technology. One could be built for the GeForce technology. It all depends. Also, drivers play a big role in that. Another thing is the core clock on the graphics cards. That confused me. I thought faster was better. No, it doesn't really make... Faster doesn't always mean better, because you can throw in a GTX 750 Ti up against the R7 370, and the R7 370 is probably going to stomp it. You know, I've never had any experience with the R7 370, but I've watched a lot of reviews and read about them, and it would probably stomp that 750 Ti into the ground, and it has a slower core clock, but that R7 370 also has 1024 stream processors, so I mean, that's the edge it's got on that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Check out some more videos. I'll be trying to pump out as many as I can for you and answer any questions. The next video I plan to do is going to be about processors. That one's going to be fun, because I know there's a big debate on whether you can use dual core, quad core, you need a hexa-core, an octa-core processor. You know, I've heard it all, I've seen it all. I'm actually in the process of building an Intel Pentium G3258 computer. That's a dual core Pentium processor, and I'm going to show you that paired with one of the cards I just listed off in this video. It'll be an excellent gaming computer, and with the Pentium G3258, it actually is an Intel 1150 socket type. I'll get into that in another video. Don't worry about that right now. But that means it is going to be very upgradable in the future, because the 1150 socket supports up to the i7 processors, and those are phenomenal. Don't really need them for gaming, but if you want them, you can put them there. Alright guys, thanks.